Hello again, everyone, and welcome to the Galen Snyder Show. I'm Vince Reed. We're brought to you every week by Aria Health, your friends and neighbors here in Bucks County, also by the Continental Tavern. And Continental Tavern right now in their 150th anniversary, as well as, of course, by the Pennsbury Basketball Recreational League, PRBLonline.com. Well, we're getting ready for the tail end of the season a little bit. As we said, toward the end of the year, we had the same thing last year, 4 big games in a row. Got by one of them, and that was Penn Ridge. That was a good ball club they played. It was a tough ball club. It was a strong ball club, and probably a bigger ball club than Pennsbury has seen in a while. But, when it came out to that, when they came out of it, having a 30-6 lead and won it 38-32, ended up being a thriller at the end for all the fans who were still there. Of course, those watching as well on the live stream. And Coach, let's go back to that ball game. A tough one, one where it looked good at halftime with a 30-6 lead. But as I mentioned, as the second half was unfolding, I said, sometimes you don't mean to. I mean, as a team, as a unit, but you go out there and maybe in the back of your mind you're thinking, oh, we can just, not meaning that you want to, but you kind of relax yourself a little bit. And I say, those are the kind of things that happen. The other team comes back.
Yeah, there was a little bit of that. That happened. I would say, like, we kind of let up a little bit at halftime of maybe North Penn and also Abington when we got out to big leads.
Right.
When it was, maybe there was a little bit of that. I think in this case, I think that, they got a little bit of life off of a couple turnovers.
Yeah.
And, so, those types of things can happen to you, but bottom line, when we needed to shore things up, we did, and got away with the win.
Well, you look at it, as we mentioned, this stretch, of course, is a tough stretch when you have them, and then this week you've got North Penn. You've got to go on the road to Central Bucks South and wrap up with the Chamonix. But, when it comes down to it, things always looking good. But, you look at these games and you say, you really have to be up for each and every one of these. You did it last year and you got to do it again.
Yeah. I mean, you just take it one at a time. I know that's a cliche, but it is true. We were focused on Penn Ridge last week, and we knew we had a, big challenge ahead of us with a big physical team. And so anyway, we got through that challenge, and then we move on to the next one this week with North Penn, and then, like I said, you just focus one at a time. That's really how you do it.
When you look at it, as we said, in this league, it's so good. You get such good football, and you can't let up. I mean, that proved it there a little bit there in that last ball game. Even with a nice, what looks like commanding lead against one of these teams, they're capable of getting the same thing you did to them in the first half. They can do to you in the second half. So, you got to play 4 quarters with these ball clubs, and that's just the way it is. That's the way the league is, because it's probably the best in eastern Pennsylvania when you come right down to it. And when we look at that, and we see North Penn on the horizon again, and Coach, I know I've mentioned this, a lot of people talking to me since this last ball game over the weekend, and now the start of this week about the North Penn ball game. And I look back on last year, and I honestly do believe this, and I think maybe the playoffs kind of were able to bear that out. I thought last year you were the better team. You didn't get the better of them then, but certainly you did even more than that as far as winning the district playoff as well. So that's just one of those things, and this has been going on for a while with North Penn. So I would imagine, the biggest thing is to get over the hump and get over maybe the mindset that this is North Penn coming in.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see that mindset. I mean, I don't see us having that as far as this being North Penn. I just don't feel it, right now.
Yeah.
I just think that we're thinking about, the opportunity to play a good football team who's undefeated. We're both 4-0 in the league, and they're going to be a good challenge from that standpoint. And it's kind of an exciting place to be. You have it right out here in front of us with 2 teams 4-0, and obviously whoever wins this game puts themselves in line, in the driver's seat a little bit as far as the league's concerned. And that's our goal. Our goal is to try to win 4 straight league titles, and this would be definitely a big step in that direction.
Yeah, I know it's tough to win, the league outright. You guys have been able to do 3, and to get 4 would be tremendous. I don't know if anybody's been able to get 4 in a row in this league.
You know what, as much success as North Penn has had, and they've had a great deal of success, I think they, it's fair to say that they probably won the Continental League.
Yeah, right.
But even when they were back in the National, no, they never put together
anything like this.
No.
Well, we're going to talk a lot more about the North Penn game coming up. I want to tell you a little bit about our sponsors here today. And of course, one of them is the Continental Tavern. The Continental Tavern is a place where you can go, not only enjoy the food, enjoy the people that are there, having a good time, and you can talk to anybody there. They'll just talk to you, and they're so friendly. And the other thing is, too, they have the live stream. You can watch every Pennsbury game live on their screens at the Continental Tavern. They have it all for you. I don't care whether it be say a hamburger, a cheesesteak, whether it be an actual meal that you want, whether it's seafood, a steak, you name it, they've got it. They got great salads as well if you'd like to go that route. And certainly a place that, as I said, is, Frank has done a great job over at the Continental Tavern. He's done some work on it the last couple of years. And of course, right now, their 150th anniversary. That says something about the Continental Tavern right there on Main and Afton Streets in Yardley. And don't forget, too, about one of our other sponsors, and that is, of course, the Pennsbury Basketball Recreational League. The time to get your young one into it, because they also can get in as early as, as being when you come down to it, just being a youngster and go in there and then go right up until your high school. It's the idea that you go in, have a good time. You can learn the game also while you're moving up maybe and get a chance to play on one of these teams like Pennsbury, and a lot of them have come from the PRBL as well. So take a look at them, and how you do that and sign them up is on PRBLonline.com. And of course, Aria Health, which is of course there for you when you need them most. They're going to be here for you as well. We're going to be back in just a moment with the Galen Snyder Show right after this.
The ARIA 3B Orthopedic Institute is redefining care in Center City and South Jersey. And our 50,000 square foot location on ARIA Health's Bucks campus in Langhorne features private rooms, free parking, and nearby hotels. With over a century of experience, the world-class 3Bs, Doctors Booth, Bartolozzi, Balderston, and their partners personally guide you from treatment through recovery. For all your orthopedic needs, call 1-888-ORTHO-3B or visit aria3bortho.org. At the ARIA 3B Orthopedic Institute, you come first.
If you are looking for a car, where do you go? Faulkner Auto Group at 4427 Street Road in Trevose is where to go for the best deals in Bucks County for all your new pre-owned cars, trucks, or SUVs. Go to Faulkner Auto Group. It's always Faulkner, to be sure. Go online to faulknerautogroup.com. Just remember, it's Faulkner, to be sure, for all your new cars or trucks. 4427 Street Road in Trevose. Faulkner, to be sure.
The Gator, Jerry Blavitt here, to tell you to tune us in every weekday afternoon from 3 to 5 p.m. right here at WBCB 1490 AM and throughout the world at WBCB1490.com. And it's brought to you by the Italian People Bakery and the deli at 63 Butler Street in the Chambersburg section of Trenton, and also in Levittown at Woodburn and Oxford Valley Roads, and where all baking is done on the premises at both stores. Yo, Trenton and Levittown, this is the Geeter, the big boss with the big hot sauce, Jerry Blavitt, inviting you to join me every weekday afternoon from 3 to 5 as we bring back the memories at the top of the dial, 1490 AM, WBCB, and throughout the world at WBCB1490.com. And it's brought to you by Mako at 1460 Prospect Street, right off Alden Avenue in Ewing Township, owned and operated by my main man, Matt Palmer.
Hi, this is Merrill Reese, and since 1986, McCaffrey's Supermarket has been a real supermarket experience and a very proud member of our community. Through good times and bad times, Jim McCaffrey and his family have been there to assist our neighbors when they needed help, whether it's helping flood victims, raising funds for the American Cancer Society, or supporting the local Little League teams. You can count on McCaffrey's to be there. McCaffrey Supermarkets, 635 Heacock Road in Yardley, in the village of Newtown, at 2890 South Eagle Road, and also in Princeton and West Windsor.
Back again here with the Galen Snyder Show as we're talking about the big game coming up here, and a big night too. It's going to be a homecoming that was moved because of the weather situation a couple of weeks ago, so they moved homecoming to tonight. They also moved up the Hall of Fame, which kind of surprised me because they always had it after the last home game, but they moved that up as well. And so you're going to have a couple things going on when it comes to the game this week. And of course, the big game of all is going to be the one on the field with North Penn. Coach, tell us about your thoughts about this North Penn team from what you've seen, had them scouted, and maybe had a chance to watch them if you weren't playing, they were playing a different day or night. So tell us a little bit about what you see from this team.
Well, I see a North Penn team, typically they have good size and also good speed and athleticism. I see them probably a little bit more athletic than usual and maybe with more speed, maybe not quite the size that they've had in the past. And I also see them perhaps a little bit more balanced. They've always been a team that really relied on the run, would have a good screen game, some play action pass that they were effective at. They seem to be a little bit more, a little more drop back pass, some more sprint out, things like that. So they're trying to be a little bit more balanced as a team, probably, but they still are able to, when they get down to it, they can still run their traditional types of running plays and things of that nature effectively.
Well, I think one of the things, as you mentioned, more balance is the fact that I think Reese Udinski is having a bigger year than maybe, when I looked at the beginning of the season, I thought, well, how good is this kid going to be? But game to game, he seems to be getting better. And he's got Ricky Johns, that's his #1 receiver. And John seems to be catching, a lot of passes and quite a few touchdowns in their ball games too. But I think those two guys, and they're only juniors, I think they come really far with the fact that they help really end up giving him a good balanced attack, those two.
Yeah, he likes to get the ball down the field to #8, and he likes to. Well, he throws the ball pretty effectively. That's what he's shown so far. He's had some big games. Against Soderton, he put up around 300 yards passing with 3 or 4 touchdowns, something like that. Right. So they've had some real good games throwing, and Johns would be the #1 target.
Yeah. One of the things I was looking at, and I thought, well, the way they've been playing without Nifis West, who's their top running back. And Nifis, I got to admit, really came into his own, I thought, last year, made his mark in the game that you played. The game that he played was probably the best for him. It was like a breakout game. Everybody knew, he was pretty good, but in that game he proved he was really good. And of course, he's been banged up, he's been injured, but I think everybody just about knew when he was coming back. He's coming back this week.
Nifis is headed towards Delaware State.
Yeah.
He's a good back, shifty, quick, runs with some power. So he's a good all-around back. The other kid who's in there actually did a little damage to us last year as well, and he's been sort of toting the ball for him when they haven't been, when Nifis hasn't been there. That's this Ostropovich, this number 30.
Yeah.
He's kind of a shorter, stockier type of kid, but still has speed, and he can break tackles. He's a tough kid. He'll break tackles if you don't hit him and get a lot of bodies to him.
Yeah, I noticed that, one of the things I mentioned, and somebody asked me about what I do here with the 3x5 card. It's what I call my cheat sheet. Mm-hmm. These are the guys that I'm going to see offensively for the most part, running backs and also ends, wide receivers, guys who will handle the ball a lot in the ball game. Try to memorize these so when they come in, I've got them. And if you noted, this is longer than usual for a team. But the reason why is they've had such big leads. They've used a lot of other guys too.
Right. Well, I mean, the guys we just mentioned, like I said, Ostropovich is in for West.
Yeah.
And but he's a good ball player, plays both sides of the ball. Isabella, 28, he's the fullback. He's a tough kid, fullback linebacker. 84, Keith Earl is probably the best all-around player. Plays defensive end and tight end for him. So those would be, those names. Those are guys they lean on most heavily.
Okay, we're talking about the North Penn ball game coming up here on a big night for Pennsbury, homecoming, and also Hall of Fame night for them. And we're going to talk a little bit as well about the Pennsbury side here coming up right after this.
Peruzzi Nissan is the home of the 3495 Pennsylvania State Inspection and Admission and is your full-service automotive facility for all makes and models, regardless of where you purchased your car. Air conditioner tune-up for just $79.95 at Peruzzi Nissan. Buy 3 tires at Peruzzi Nissan and get the 4th one free, plus free alignment checks. Have your car looking showroom new with a value detail package for just $64.95 and a full detail package for only $179.95. Peruzzi Nissan Service, Business Route 1, Fairless Hills, where our business is you.
Achieving what you want demands the right game plan. When you team up with PNC, you get the tools and know-how you need to get where you want to go. Whether it's buying a new home, sending your kids off to college, or retiring the way you want, PNC is here ready to help you achieve your financial goals. To discover all the ways PNC can help, stop by any branch or visit PNC.com. PNC for the achiever in you. PNC Bank, member FDIC. I'm Merrill Reese to tell you about our good friends at the Revere Ristorante Italiano in nearby Ewing Township at 802 River Road. I can tell you that from South Philadelphia to New York's Mulberry Street, there's no better Italian cuisine than that served at the Revere. Start your meal with one of their great appetizers or salads. Entrees include outstanding veal dishes, fresh seafood daily, excellent steaks and chops, homemade pasta dishes, daily specials, and much more. You can also enjoy their bar area, where on most weekends, entertainment is offered. The Revere also does off-premise catering and can accommodate private parties for any affair, including business functions. Call the Revere Ristorante Italiano for more information and reservations at 609-882-6365. 882-6365. The Revere Ristorante Italiano, open Monday through Friday for lunch and 7 days for dinner at 802 River Road, right off the Wilbertha Road exit on Route 29 in nearby Ewing Township.
Oh, the corner kick's right to Chris. He's got a shot. Oh, no.
It happens fast, so we'll treat you fast. Introducing Rothman Orthopedic Urgent Care, where you're seen without an appointment by a Rothman orthopedic specialist. Fast, any day of the week.
Okay. Easy with his leg.
Rothman Orthopedic Urgent Care, now in Marlton, New Jersey, with more locations to come. It happens fast. We'll treat you fast. Rothman Orthopedic Urgent Care. See RothmanInstitute.com.
Don't forget, if you miss any of your local high school sports action, you can read all about it in tomorrow's edition of the Trentonian. For your complete local and national news 7 days a week, it's the Trentonian, or online at thetrentonian.com. The only newspaper serving Bucks, Burlington, and Mercer County 7 days a week, it's the Trentonian.
Back again with the Galen Snyder Show. Don't forget, we're being brought to you in part by ARIA Health, your friends and neighbors here in Bucks County. Along with, of course, we have the Pennsbury Basketball Recreation League, PRBL, that joins us. And you can start with your kids there from kindergarten on up. You want to get them started really young? Well, you can do that. And believe me, they'll teach you how to handle a basketball and do a real good job of it, where these kids are really interested in basketball, end up playing on teams as they go along. And of course also by the Continental Tavern, which is just a great place to enjoy, watch the ball games, and it's still kind of, right now the weather is not bad still, where you can go outside during the day and go out on that patio, that porch area that they put out there. And Frank has done a great job with that, and people like eating out there as well. And of course, you can go inside when it gets colder, and an opportunity there too when you're inside enjoying a good meal is the fact that you can watch all the games televised live stream on all their TVs of all the Pennsbury football games. Well, we talked about North Penn some here. I want to talk about the Falcons a little bit. And the Falcons last week, when we saw as the game went on, got a little nicked up here and there, and hopefully everybody's in good condition.
Yeah. I mean, it gets to that point in the year. This is when the league starts wearing, basically you start feeling the league schedule a little bit. We kind of after Penridge last year, we're a little bit banged up going into the North Penn game, some of our backs and such, so we're a little bit nicked up going in there at this time. But probably most teams are at this time of year. I mentioned it earlier in one of the earlier broadcasts that, as you went into the playoffs, you looked at last year, you looked at North Penn, went out in the first round, right. Penridge went out in the first round, Central Bucks South went out in the first round, and a lot of that was due to injury. And we had our own scare in the first round where we had 3 defensive starters out. So that's all the accumulation of playing in this Suburban One National Conference, where you don't get a break. You know, you're playing, you know, week to week, a lot of physical ball games.
You know, when you look at this, you know, your team right now coming into this ball game, I know last week, as far as that goes, you were using Dalton Hose a lot on defense as well. Dalton back there with, you know, with your other backs, and Ali has been another one, and Ruprecht, of course, there. Your son's in there as well, and also Daly. Well, when you guys add it all up, I mean, it's not like I mentioned having a Chuck Snorri, one guy with a lot of totals, but you guys have over 2,000 yards rushing now for the primary runners of this ball club, which is pretty good. When you look at it, it shows it's really spaced out now.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's part of the, I know we're running wing T as our base, but, you know, we're running some other things too, but all power running type of things. But, you know, the main philosophy behind a wing T offense is to spread it around, you know, to have more than one back carry the ball. You know, last year we did that up until the playoffs, and then we really, Brad started running a lot of I, and Chuck started getting the ball over 30 times a game, and that's where he really piled up the stats. But, you know, so we expected, you know, to have some balance there with our backs.
Not only that, but I think you got more balance with your passing game. It seems to have come alive. You don't throw a lot of passes, but I'll tell you what you throw has been big, because they have counted. They've counted for touchdowns. They've counted for nice areas where you needed that first down. And that passing game with Ali and his receivers he's got out there has really, you know, worked for you this year.
Yeah, I mean, we don't get Mike doesn't get a lot of opportunities to throw, and the receivers don't get a lot of opportunities to catch the ball, but when they do, they've made them count so far, and that's the key. If you have a run-oriented offense, you want to be able to, you know, when you do throw it, you want to be able to make some big plays and really impact the game, and that's what we've been able to do.
You know, the one thing I guess that I look at and bothered me a little bit was the fact that, you know, you don't have a kicker for an extra point or for a field goal this year the way you've had the last few years, but you guys have made the most of it. You've been making most of your 2-point conversions, which is nice, because you can jump out there like you did this ball game and get, instead of a 7-point lead, you got an 8-point lead.
Yeah, I mean, I said it to you last week.
Yeah.
We picked up in 1 week, on a Monday, Friday night, we picked up 20 extra points off of 10 touchdowns. You know, or excuse me, off of we had 14 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Well, we got 20 extra points. Now, typically, if you're perfect, you get 14. We got 20. You know, and
that's pretty good.
And then last week, you know, we missed one.
Yeah.
Right. What we ended up getting.
You converted
4,
quite a few.
Right.
Yeah.
We got 4 of them.
That's what I mean.
Missed
You're
one,
getting
we
2
got
at
4.
a time.
So really, out of 5 touchdowns, we picked up 8 points, 8 extra.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we're doing better than if our kicker was perfect.
Yeah, you got that, because when you add that all up, it was 38-32. It could have been a lot closer than that even.
If we would have gone for extra points, kicked them and missed them,
right,
would have been right there.
Different story. But I'll tell you what, this is one you don't want to miss. This is one that a lot of people, and of course even at the schools, have kind of circled. You can imagine that, because this is the one that, you know, is going to decide possibly, when it comes down to it, although it'll be 2 more big games for both of these schools, possibly the league championship, and that's big right now with both of these teams in the league, in the National Conference, being undefeated at this stage and having just 3 games left on their schedule. And of course, they're also looking at that, and also making it as high as they can into the districts. The first 8 teams that make it in the district competition get at least to play 1 home game. And that's another thing you kind of look forward to. You look forward to maybe getting at least 1 that you're playing on your home turf before you have to go away, maybe. But we'll see what happens. There's plenty of time remaining, 3 more weeks to go, including this one. But I think this is the big one. There's no doubt about it. Everybody is looking at it. You can be sure that the other teams in the National Conference that night will be asking and want to be knowing, you know, can you hear what's on the radio? You see what's going on? How's that Pennsbury and North Penn game going? Well, they'll have a chance to find out here in this one, because this is going to be a beauty tonight. As we get set for that to come your way, I want to let you know that every week here on the Galen Snyder Show, we're brought to you by ARIA Health, your friends and neighbors here in Bucks County. Also by the Pennsbury Basketball Recreation League. Get in contact with them at prblonline.com. And of course, as well, you can watch the stream live at the Continental Tavern while you enjoy a nice meal there and talk to some of the people involved. They're also watching the games with you. So for the Galen Snyder Show, I'm Vince Reed.